Okay, factorize x squared plus 6x plus 8, hence solve this. Now when you've got like this thing here called a quadratic, right? This is what this is called when you've got x squared and then an x and a number. It ends up when you factorize, and remember factorize means put into brackets, you're actually going to end up with 2 brackets here, okay? And what you do, right, always with this, whatever letter they're using, if they use x, right, they usually use x, but you put x then in front of both brackets, okay? Despite the fact that says x squared, you still put x here, okay, in both brackets at the start. Simple as that, right? And over here then, what we do is, right, we've got to think about 2 things, right? We've got to think about m and a, basically, right? Now, m stands for multiply, a stands for add. We need to then fill in 2 numbers here, right? We've got to put 2 numbers here. And these 2 numbers, okay, that we choose here, have to m, right, multiply to give this number at the end here, right? So they have to multiply to give 8, and they have to add to give this number here in the middle next to the x, okay? So we need to think of 2 numbers that multiply to give 8, add to give 6. Now break it down, right? Just focus on this here. Let's think about 2 numbers that multiply to give 8. For instance, 1 times 8 will give you 8, won't it? 1 times 8 gives you 8. But can you get that to be 6 when we add these together? I mean, if you add these, it becomes 9, doesn't it? So that's no good. Or you could make one of them minus, okay? But even though, if that was minus 1, that wouldn't make 6, right? Because it'd be minus 1 and 8 is 7. So that's no good. So think of another pair that multiply to give 8. What about 2 times 4? You can get 8. 2 times 4 is 8. And 6, they add up to give 6, don't they? 2 and 4 add up to give 6. So you put plus 2 here, plus 4 here, okay? And that's factorized, okay? Factorized. And this is hence solve equals 0, right? Okay, so this bit here equals 0. So we put these brackets equals 0. Now, this is quite simple because you've got 2 brackets, right? Joined together, that means they multiply. 2 brackets multiplied equals 0. That means one of these brackets has to be 0, okay? Because if you think about it, when you multiply 2 things together and you get 0, one of those things has to be 0. When you multiply a pair of numbers together, okay, and the answer is 0, one of them has got to be 0. Okay, like 6 times 0 is 0, or 0 times 3 is 0. Okay, so one of them has to be 0. Now, if this bracket was 0, we've got to think, what could we set x to equal to make this bracket 0? Well, if you think about it, to get this bracket to be 0, x will have to be the opposite of this. X will have to be minus 2. Okay? If x was minus 2, then this will become 0. In this case here, to get this 0, what would x have to be here? X would have to be the opposite of this. Okay? Minus 4. Okay? And then that would become 0. So those are our 2 answers here. Minus 2 or minus 4. Now part B, right? Similar situation. Okay, again, double bracket, and because we're using the letter x, x at the start. And remember, we need to find a pair of numbers that multiply to give this number at the end, 20, and add up to give 9. Now, if you think about 20, 10 times 2, okay, gives you 20. But when we put these together, we don't quite get 9, can we? I mean, we could make that a minus 2, but 10 take away 2 is going to be 8. So that's not 9. 4 goes into 20, doesn't it? 4 times 5, that gives you 20. When you add them, it gives you 9, doesn't it? So it works, okay? Multiplies to give 20, adds to give 9. So I'm going to put, because it's 4, I'm going to put plus 4 here, plus 5 here. And then it's got to equal 0, isn't it? Yeah? It's got to equal 0. Pair of brackets equals 0. So when you multiply these brackets, you get 0. So that means one of the brackets has to be 0. Now, perhaps a different way of explaining it, to the way I explained it before, is literally put this equal to 0. So you could say, look, this bracket could be 0. So you could just say, look, x plus 4 here equals 0. Or the other bracket equals 0. Right? And of course, if x plus 4 is 0, you can work out x, can't you? Just take that 4 over the other side and become minus 4. Same here, take that 5 over the other side, becomes minus 5. Okay, so that's another way of working out the value x there. Part C, this time now, a little bit more work to this because, you know, again you put x in both brackets, but this time multiply to give 21, the end number, add to give this number. Now this number is minus 10. Okay, so we've got to think carefully here. Now think about 21. What multipliers give 21? 1 times 21. Okay, but can we get these to add up to give minus 10? Probably not. 2, does that go into 21? No, it's odd. 3 does, doesn't it? 3 times 7. Now can we get that to add to give minus 10? Well, 3 and 7 adds to give 10, doesn't it? How can I get it to be minus 10? What could I do to these numbers to make a minus 10? Because you can change you can make a minus if you wanted to. If I made them both minus, what would that give me? Minus 3 minus 7 gives me minus 10. So they'll add up to give minus 10. But you need to check then, are they multiplying? Are they multiplying to give 21? And they do, don't they? Minus 3 times minus 7 multiplies to give 21. Okay, 2 negatives make a plus. So you get your answer. And of course then it says then put it equals to 0. So when you put it equals to 0, the first bracket equals 0, or the second bracket equals 0. So x will equal 3, or x will equal 7. And you take that minus 3 over, it becomes plus 3. Take that minus 7 over, it becomes plus 7.